Hello, this is Bill Meridian posting for Mundane Global Scan for the first time in many years. I think there were pterodactyls overhead the last time I posted anything. This is about planetary clusters. It's a very brief video. It doesn't require much explanation. I just wanted to make you aware, since many are not aware of planetary clusters, or what we have come to call PCs. And by the way, in addition to the old BillMeridian.com website, I now have a new website, BillMeridianAstrology.com. Both of them are up and running. The second one is a smaller site that explains my different services. So, planetary clusters, or PCs, were developed by Neil Michelson when he printed his book, Tables of Planetary Phenomena. These are defined as at least 5 planets in a 20-degree arc. In other words, it's a big conjunction. The table lists all PCs from 1700 to 2050, so there's plenty of data for one to do research. This is what the book looks like. It's loaded with information like ingresses of the planets, the outer planets into signs, all the major configurations, all the eclipses. Belongs in everyone's bookshelf. Now, here is what the PCs actually look like in the book. Now, here is a PC that started in 2021, January 22nd. It started at, that's the GMT time, 2231, and it started at 17 Cap 54. And the planets involved were Venus, Pluto, Sun, Saturn, and Jupiter. And it lasted 11 days, 23 minutes, 36 seconds. It ended February 3, 2207 at the 25 Capricorn, and there were the planets, the ending planets. Now, if you think about this, PCs are much more likely to occur if we have a conjunction of outer planets. Then the sun will move into that area and pull along with it, due to the rules of maximum elongation, Venus and Mercury. And of course, the moon may come in there also and give you a 6-planet PC. So let's take a look at another one. We just went through, look at 2025, that's where we are now. 2025, we had one at February 27th to March 1st, and we had another one March 9th, all the way through to April 4th. That was a pretty long one. It had 23 and 21. No, excuse me, I read the wrong column. You had, the first one lasted for 1 day, the second one for 25 days. And there you see all of the planets, and as you know, it was in a big cluster in Pisces. When you see these, you can then go to all your Pisces entities if you're doing mundane astrology or have a database of clients or people or entities that you're watching, and you'll know that they're getting a big bombardment of energy from outer space. These are not exactly conjunctions, but they more or less have the same effect. And look at 2032. Now, some years have no planetary clusters at all, like 2036. If we go down here, 2036, it will have none. 2031 will have none. So there are very intense years in terms of PCs, and there are very relaxed years. Now here, I just got a little bit of a different viewpoint on it. I think you can probably see this a little better. You will note that the next planetary cluster will be from April 24th to April 26th, and only lasts a couple of days. It involves Saturn, Venus, Neptune, Mercury, and Moon. See, Saturn and Neptune are now getting close. They will be exactly conjunct in February 2026. So these two now form the basis of many of the planetary clusters. And again, 2032, you can see, is very intense, and it is in Gemini. It's in mutable signs. Now, these periods are intense, as you might assume, In the stock market, most conjunctions, that means normal conjunctions, not PCs, are small price highs. But PCs are very big conjunctions with at least 5 planets and the wide orb. In other words, like a pie wedge in space. PCs can be highs in the market. In fact, Arch Crawford pinpointed the 5 planet conjunction on August 25th, 1987 in Virgo at a high, which was correct. That was the high in the beginning of the 87 crash. That's how that was done. So this has been the case in Q1. The market has been down. It did not, however, bring the market down in June of 2024. Now, June is usually a weak month. There was a planetary cluster late May to early June. However, the market did not come down, so this does not work 100% of the time. And there you see the PC in effect in 2025. So again, a great tool for doing mundane astrology. If you're familiar, if there are, for example, Aries, Libra are very important for the development of the German culture and country. So if you see a PC in Aries, Libra, what will you think? The same is true. The modern state of Iran has its sun at 10 Aries. So if it were in Aries, Libra, you would look toward those countries that have planets in those areas. So this is the commercial part, Mundane Astrology, Mastering Geopolitical Prediction. That is my book on mundane astrology if you haven't read it. And there's the old standard, The Predictive Power of Eclipse Paths at billmeridian.com. And then there are the Scholars series, In Search 1 and In Search 2, which contain 3 of the old Charles Jane In Search magazines with very early articles by Dane Rudger, Dr. Edgar Wagner, Charles Jane himself, Vivian Jane, and I can't think of, there are countless others. So, billmeridian.com, there are all the books, and there are all the reports that are available. Thank you very much for listening. I'll be posting another one again soon, and probably from this point on a regular basis. If you don't know my name, I wrote the mundane astrology column for Dell Horoscope for 30 years until they folded up. And I actually started back in the 80s, and I still do it today. But there's been no outlet, so I think I'm going to bring it back on this channel. It's been good talking to you. I hope that you have found planetary clusters very interesting. It's quite a simple concept and easy to apply. Bye-bye for now.